Hello everyone, I'm Movie Master 222 and I'm here to review Wonder Woman. Based off one of the big three DC characters, Wonder Woman tells the tale of Diana of Themyscira as she's introduced to the mortal world and all the turmoil and horror that comes with it. Based off the DC character of the same name, Wonder Woman tells the tale of Diana, princess of the Amazons on the island of Themyscira. Themyscira is literally a gift from the gods to the Amazons, an island paradise where they know no war, no pain, no suffering, and they have no interactions with men. However, everything changes when Steve Trevor, a World War I American spy, comes crash landing into Themyscira, literally bringing the German army to the doorstep of the Amazons. The brief but horrific battle proves to Diana that the world is in turmoil and that she needs to do something about it. From the get-go, Diana is presented as a supremely arrogant yet undeniably talented Amazon warrior. At all times she does what she believes is right, even at the consternation of those around her, to the point where she defies her mother and aids Steve Trevor in escaping from Themyscira and bringing him back to the war. Diana is of the belief that Ares, the Greek god of war, is responsible for all of men's woes, and that World War I is directly responsible by his meddling in human affairs. Thus, she, along with Steve Trevor and a handful of trusted allies, goes on a quest throughout war-torn Europe to try to hunt down Ares and his mortal lackeys and try to save mankind from destroying themselves. The movie has a lot riding on its shoulders on multiple fronts. On one of these fronts is the fact that DC and WB's Justice League shared cinematic universe is not going as smoothly or as successfully as they would ideally have hoped. Now, I want to tackle the first female-led superhero movie angle first because I think this is the far more problematic issue that the movie has to deal with. A lot of weight is going to be put on the fact that this is the first female-led superhero movie and also is the first superhero movie in general to be directed by a female. Some people, regrettably, are just not going to like this because of all the female pro-feminist angles that they might observe or believe or imagine the movie has. It's also important to note, however, that this door swings both ways and that a lot of people are going to love and even put this movie on a higher pedestal than it deserves because of all these pro-feminist, pro-women ideas that they believe, imagine, whether they exist or not, that the movie has. So with that in mind, I believe it's important to, while acknowledge the fact that this is the first female-led superhero movie and the first superhero movie directed by a female, it's also important to just take this for what it is, a superhero movie, not any special than any other superhero movie before it, and rate it and review it as such. And with that in mind, being as objective as possible and not letting any of the fanfare or significance of what this movie means to women all around the world get into muddy the waters of this review, I have to say that overall, Wonder Woman was okay. I personally believe it's probably DC's best entry into their Justice League universe so far, but that pretty much means it has to be better than Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad, both movies I never really had much care or love for. One of the things this movie has going against it is its runtime. It clocks in at nearly 2.5 hours, and there's a great deal of extras and filler that's in the movie that probably could have been left out and made a better picture without it overall. As far as the story goes, if you have any experience with the Wonder Woman franchise, the story is going to seem very familiar, especially those stories that involve Ares as the main antagonist. This is especially regrettable as there was a moment in the film which they had an opportunity to do something different, to be more than a comic book movie. But Hollywood knows what it wants. They want comic book movies because comic book movies sell. So instead of trying to be different and trying to do something bold, they went with the usual comic book route, which is ultimately fun, admittedly, but regrettable nonetheless. Also going against it is the soundtrack, which I believe is an essential part of any movie-going experience. The only music that had any real life to it was Wonder Woman's main theme, which we heard in the Batman vs. Superman movie. Kind of vibrant and jungle warfare kind of tune. Other than that main battle theme, though, the music was uninspired, nothing stood out, nothing was impressive. It was honestly just very dull, which to their credit, even Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad had rather entertaining musical scores and soundtracks. As far as the characters beyond Wonder Woman herself, they're all pretty forgettable. The main villain is surprisingly entertaining for the limited time he has in the movie. Gal herself is pretty much exactly what I expected. She's pretty to look at. She isn't horrible as Diana, but she also doesn't really add anything memorable to the role. Chris Pine as Steve Trevor is entertaining enough, especially when he's working alongside Gal Gadot, which I honestly didn't expect. I thought that was going to be horrible. It was actually pretty fun and entertaining when they interacted. Etta Candy, Steve Trevor's secretary, is cute and endearing, and she doesn't overstay her welcome, which is a good thing because any more than what we got, and I would find myself wanting to pull out my hair at how insufferable she is. The villains are missed opportunities. They had the potential to be interesting and creative in ways that Marvel could only dream of, but once again, this is a comic book movie. There's no room for anything new, so we just do mustache-twirling villainy and pseudo-Nazi evilness. Probably the best acting in this movie came from British actor David, I'm going to butcher this name, but David Thewlis. He's a good British actor. You can see him on Fargo right now as the main villain. He, for the 15 minutes he actually appeared in this movie, he was always the shining bright star of the movie. My overall opinion, Wonder Woman is a 2.5-hour movie that basically involves 2 hours of slogging through Stranger in a Strange Land tropes, basic comic book formula origin stories, and it all leads to a half-hour climax, which I did enjoy immensely, I'm not going to lie, but overall I don't think the 2 hours that precede it is ultimately worth the half-hour payoff that we get. It's basically the Transformers conundrum. Do we sit through the 2 hours of all the technobabble and all the nonsense storytelling to get to the meat of it, where Optimus Prime goes to war against the Decepticons for 20 to 30 minutes? I can't answer that. Only you can answer that. But I might be making Wonder Woman sound worse than it is. In all honesty, it is a decent movie. Certainly, as I mentioned earlier, one of the better movies that Warner Brothers and DC has put out for their Justice League universe. It's not as great as it could have been. It's not the train wreck that Suicide Squad was, where the movie actually flows naturally. There's no odd cutaways. It just feels like they were afraid to do more with her because they wanted it to be safe and make their quick money and get out so they can get ready for Justice League, which is a shame because Wonder Woman has always had the potential to be more than just a comic book story. I personally feel that you shouldn't waste money on this movie, and you should especially not, if you're going to see it, waste money to see this in 3D. There is nothing extra you get out of seeing this. It would not be worth the extra money. It's barely worth the price of admission to see it normally. But if you really want to see it, I'm not going to stop you. Go see it. Make your own opinion. Who knows? Maybe you'll like it more than I did. I hope you do if that's the case. That's all for now on Movie Master 222, and I'll see you all next time.